Hey guys, my name is Anthony, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my 5th installment of my Hotlap Analysis / face-off series. So I wanted to let you guys know that when it comes to submissions, I'm not going to be taking as many submissions in the near future because there's other type of content I want to create. I've just started uploading the career mode and I do want to start uploading more career mode videos. So the Hotlap Analysis are going to take a little bit of a step back. I'm still going to be uploading them, but it's maybe going to be like maybe once a week or once every other week instead of multiple times a week like it has been over the past week or two. So I hope you guys are patient with that. I'm still going to be taking some submissions in once I get through the people that have submitted already, but then after that it's going to be a lot slower of a process just because I'm not going to be doing it as much. But if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and click the big red button below to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month and we're almost there. We're almost at 950, so about 50 to go, which is incredible. But if you're not new and you're subscribed already, make sure to let your friends know about the channel and tell them to hit the red button. But getting straight into it, today we have SHZ Shadow, which is the team I've just joined. I've just joined SHZ as a content creator, so make sure to go to the link below and follow them on Twitter. But thank you to Shadow for supplying today's footage. So as you guys may know, I've been talking about aggression and stuff like that recently, especially on the last two Hotlap face-off series videos. But today is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to sort of mention more about what he's doing right versus what I'm doing wrong. But first off, I did want to talk about his driving style because his driving style is a little bit different from the previous two that we've had on the series, and I really like this driving style because it's more of a smooth driving style, but it's still aggressive. However, he makes it look as if he's not really being that aggressive. If you just look at the lap that is happening right now on the screen, you can just see he's just so smooth through the corners, and it doesn't actually look like he's being aggressive even though he is being aggressive. And I think the two main things that really allow him to be able to have this sort of driving style is it could be his wheel setup. I'm not sure if he's using a wheel, if he's using a controller or anything, but it could be his wheel setup, the force feedback strength, and that it's a little bit, maybe it's a little bit stronger, which allows him to be a little bit more smooth through the corners while still being aggressive. But I think the main thing that really helps him is the setups that he's using. I don't know what setup he's using in this video, and I'm not sure if he's willing to really share those sort of setups because he is a driver for SHZ, and I know that a lot of drivers are sort of wary about sharing their setups to other people just in case other people that they're driving against may use it. But I think his setup really allows him to be able to attack corners while still being very smooth, and this is definitely a driving style that I want to adapt to moving forward going into the future. I want to be able to have a nice smooth driving style similar to the driving style I have now, but have it still be a lot more aggressive and not as passive as what I currently drive at. So moving on to the more important part of this episode, the things that he does differently throughout the laps versus what I do. There's quite a few differences actually that kind of surprised me when I watched the lap and I watched his lap side by side with my lap. So let's get straight into it. And the first one is turn 1. Going into turn 1, he brakes quite early compared to me, I believe, and he actually elects to stay in 4th gear, which I go down into 2nd and then short shift back up to 3rd and then short shift up to 4th, whereas he actually stays in 4th. And I think that allows him to carry a lot more speed through this really tight corner because the first couple of corners are very difficult at Interlagos for me. Personally, I feel as if no matter what I shift down to, I just can't get the car turn in. And again, that's probably due to my setup, but yeah, his setup allows him to really just attack that corner in 4th gear, and you can see he almost invalidates his lap, but he doesn't. And you know, that really allows him to get a really nice smooth exit through turn 2, which as you can see going into turn 3 now, which is the next thing that he does compared to me, he stays very tight towards the curb at turn 3. You can see me, I just sort of drift off a little bit, whereas he's really tight, he's sticking to the curb, and that gives him like a sort of nice little launch going into the DRS straight. So that's the first thing that he did differently going into sector 1, and I'm not sure how much time he made up, but I'll probably zoom in once I'm editing the video so that you guys can see exactly how much time he made up on me going into sector 2. So moving on to sector 2 now. Sector 2 is probably the most difficult sector on the track. You know, you're going through a lot of different types of corners, some fast, some slow, and you can lose or make up a lot of time depending on what you do around here. So going into turn 6, 7 and 8, you can see that he is a lot smoother than I am going through these corners, and he gets on the throttle a lot sooner than I do going into turn 7 and turn 8 as well. And once again, it's probably his setup that is allowing him to do this. His setup is probably very responsive. I'm not sure if this is maybe a time trial based setup and maybe not a race setup that he's using here, but either way, he's just able to throw the car in and put the power down and use the downforce of the car whenever needed, whereas me, it takes me a little bit longer just to be able to do the same thing, which causes me to lose a little bit of time going into turn 6, 7 and 8. So moving on now to turn 11, this is where the next big difference happens, and he actually elects to stay in second gear and then short shift straight up to third just to get the power down a little bit sooner than I can. Me personally, I ended up going into first gear going into that corner, and then I short shift up to second gear, and again it's just a lot more responsive going through the corners than mine. So I'm definitely gonna have to maybe take a look at my setup and see if I can sort of build a balanced setup that is still good for the race but still very responsive, especially for sector 2, because obviously sector 3 and sector 1, they're more about straight, so you still need that straight line speed. However, sector 2 is very important because you can lose so much time going into that sector if you're not able to really get the car turn ends. Coming off the exit on turn 12 now, you can see that he really hugs the curb and basically rides over the curb the entire way through that corner, whereas me, once again similar to turn 3, I sort of just drift wide a little bit, whereas he's really tight, really compact, and he's able to just launch the car through that corner and basically get like a slingshot effect going through that corner. And then lastly, going into turn 13, he actually stays in fourth gear. We both use as much track as possible, so I did do that right. I did use the track that was given to me. However, I went into third gear and just couldn't get the power down as quickly, and it just really couldn't get as good as an exit as he did, which is very important because turn 13 is the last braking zone and traction zone of the track, so you really want to be able to get the most out of your braking and the most out of your traction going through this corner, and I just couldn't really do that compared to Shadow. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you want to see more videos like this, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. As I mentioned before, we're going to be slowing down a little bit when it comes to these videos, but if I do get a high enough response and a high enough request for it, I will bring it back and have it be a bit more prominent on the channel moving forward. So I'll see you guys in my next video.